Listen to me carefully. Every single person listening right now has a story. Some of you came from struggle. Some of you came from pain. Some of you came from environments where success wasn't expected, where people counted you out before you even started. But I need you to understand something today. Your starting point does not determine your finish line. You see, most people quit not because they don't have talent. They don't have talent. Not because they don't have opportunity, but because they don't have endurance. They get hit once and they fall. They get rejected once and they stop. They fail one time and they decide they're not good enough. But champions get ahead and keep moving. Champions fall and get back up. Champions hear and know and turn into fuel. When life puts obstacles in your path, it's not trying to stop you. It's trying to reveal you. Pressure doesn't destroy you. Pressure exposes you. It shows what you're made of. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Steel isn't strong without fire. And greatness doesn't happen without struggle. Some of you are waiting for the perfect moment. You're waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect support, the perfect timing. But let me tell you something. Perfect doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is now. Right now is your chance. Right now is your opportunity. Right now is your moment to decide that no matter what stands in your way, you will not stop. People will doubt you. They will laugh at you. They will underestimate you. While they're doubting, you're building. While they're sleeping, you're grinding. Overcoming odds isn't about having the easiest path. It's about having the strongest mindset. If your mind is strong, your circumstances don't stand a chance. If your belief is strong, your obstacles don't stand a chance. If your hunger is strong, your fears don't stand a chance. You have to want it so bad that excuses become disgusting to you. You have to want it so bad that quit isn't even an option. You have to want it so bad that when life hits you, you hit back harder. Understand this. Pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. The pain of discipline lasts minutes, hours, maybe months. But the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. So which pain are you willing to live with? You weren't created to be average. You weren't built to be ordinary. You weren't designed to live a small life. There's greatness inside of you right now. Not later, not someday, not in the future. Right now. But greatness demands effort. Greatness demands sacrifice. Greatness demands consistency. So when life says you can't, you say, watch me. When people say, it's impossible, you say, I'm possible. When doubt whispers, you're not ready, you shout back, I was born ready. This is your season. This is your time. This is your chance to rise above every limitation, every obstacle, every doubt, and every fear. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need approval. All you need is a decision. Decide today that you would overcome all odds. Decide today that your story will not end in defeat. Decide today that no matter what comes against you, you will stand, you will fight, and you will win. Because the truth is simple. The odds don't define you. The struggle doesn't break you. The pressure doesn't stop you. It builds you. Listen to me closely, because this truth has the power to change your entire life if you truly accept it deep in your mind and your spirit. Where you come from does not determine where you can go. Too many people have been lied to by their circumstances. Too many have been convinced that their past is a prison sentence instead of a training ground. They look at their background, their family history, their financial situation, their education, or their environment, and they decide their future before they even try. They think because they started behind, they must finish behind. But that belief is the very chain that holds them down. Your beginning is just a chapter, not the whole story. Some people were born into comfort, others into chaos. Some grew up surrounded by encouragement, others surrounded by doubt. Some had doors open for them. Others had doors slammed in their faces. But history proves something again and again. Starting conditions do not predict ending results. There are people who began with nothing and built empires. And there are people who began with everything and lost it all. The difference was never the starting line. The difference was mindset, hunger, and the refusal to stay where they were. You cannot control where you were born. You cannot control the family you came from. You cannot control the mistakes you made when you didn't know better. But you can control what you do now. And what you do now is more powerful than anything that happened before. The present moment is the only place where change lives. The past is information, not identity. It is a lesson not a life sentence. Yet many people carry their past like a weight tied to their ankles, wondering why they cannot run. They keep replaying old failures, old pain, old embarrassment. Every time they replay it, they relive it. Every time they relive it, they reinforce it. And every time they reinforce it, they strengthen the illusion that they are stuck. You are not stuck. You are choosing to stand still. Let that sink in. Because once you realize movement is a choice, everything changes. Progress becomes possible the moment you decide that your history will not dictate your destiny. The world may label you. People may judge you. Statistics may predict you. But none of those things have authority over your future unless you give them permission. And too many people have unknowingly handed over that permission by believing the voice that told them they could. Maybe someone told you that you're not smart enough. Maybe someone told you that people like you don't succeed. Maybe someone laughed at your dreams. Maybe someone compared you to others and made you feel small. Those words might have hurt, but they only become real when you accept them as truth. Words only have power when belief gives them permission to live inside your mind. If you reject them, they fall. If you challenge them, they weaken. If you replace them, they disappear. The greatest transformation you will ever experience is the moment you stop asking, where did I come from? And start asking, where am I going? Because one question traps you in the past and the other launches you into possibility. Forward is the only direction where growth exists. Forward is where opportunity lives. Forward is where your potential is waiting. Think about this. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once terrible. Every champion was once unknown. Nobody arrives great. Greatness is built. It is built in silence, in effort, in discipline, and in persistence. It is built in moments when nobody is watching and nobody is clapping. It is built when you keep going, even when progress feels invisible. People see the result and call it talent, but they didn't see the thousands of hours of work that created it. Your background might have made things harder for you, but harder does not mean impossible. In fact, harder often means stronger. People who grow up facing challenges develop resilience. They develop creativity. They develop endurance. They learn how to survive storms instead of panicking in rain. What once looked like a disadvantage can become your greatest advantage if you learn to use it. Struggle trains you. Pressure shapes you. Difficulty prepares you. The question is not whether you had obstacles. Everyone does. The real question is whether you will let those obstacles define you or develop you. Because the same fire that melts wax hardens steel. The same hardship that breaks one person builds another. The difference is not the difficulty. The difference is the decision. You must decide that your life will not be limited by what is behind you. You must decide that your future deserves more attention than your past. You must decide that your dreams deserve more energy than your doubts. Decision is powerful because it shifts you from victim to creator. A victim waits for change. A creator makes change. A victim blames circumstances. A creator builds despite them. A victim asks why this is happening. A creator asks, what can I do now? There will be days when your past tries to pull you back. Old habits will whisper. Old fears will resurface. Old memories will try to convince you that nothing has changed. But growth requires you to answer those voices with action. Not arguments, not excuses. Action. Because action is proof. Action is evidence. Action is the loudest declaration that you are not the same person you used to be. Do not underestimate small steps. People think transformation must be dramatic, instant, and obvious. But real change is usually quiet. It is the decision to wake up earlier, the decision to practice longer, the decision to study harder, the decision to try again after failure. Those small choices look insignificant in the moment, but repeated daily, they become unstoppable momentum. Mountains are climbed one step at a time. Books are written one page at a time. Lives are changed one decision at a time. Your environment may not always support you. Some people will misunderstand your growth. Some will doubt it. Some will even resist it because your progress reminds them of what they are not doing. But you cannot shrink to make others comfortable. You cannot stay small just because others are used to seeing you that way. Growth requires courage, and courage often requires standing alone before others understand. Never confuse where you are with who you are. Location is temporary. Identity is chosen. You may be in a difficult place, but that does not mean you are a defeated person. You may be in a season of struggle, but that does not mean you are a failure. Seasons change, circumstances shift, situations evolve. The only thing that can truly stop you is the belief that you cannot move forward. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your worst day. You are not the opinions people formed about you years ago. You are the choices you make now. You are the effort you give today. You are the direction you decide to walk starting this moment. Reinvention is real. Growth is real. Change is real. But they only become real in your life when you claim them. Some of the strongest people in the world started in the weakest position. They were overlooked, underestimated, and doubted. But instead of accepting those labels, they used them as fuel. They turned criticism into motivation. They turned rejection into determination. They turned pain into power. And you can do the same. Your story does not end where it began unless you stop writing it. Inside you right now is more potential than you have ever used. More strength than you have ever tested. More resilience than you have ever proven. But potential means nothing without action. Strength means nothing without challenge. Resilience means nothing without pressure. You discover what you are capable of only when you push beyond what is comfortable. Comfort zones are dangerous because they feel safe while they quietly steal your growth. Nothing extraordinary is built inside comfort. Greatness lives outside it. If you want a different future, you must be willing to do different things. If you want a bigger life, you must be willing to take bigger steps. Fear will try to stop you, but fear is not a wall. Fear is a signal. It is a sign that you are standing at the edge of growth. Walk forward anyway, because the truth is simple and powerful. Your background is a starting point, not a boundary. It is a reference, not a restriction. It is a chapter, not a conclusion. No matter where you came from, no matter what you faced, no matter what you lack, you still have the ability to rise, to grow, to build, and to become. So lift your head, fix your focus, strengthen your mind, and remind yourself every single day that your past introduced you to life, but your decisions introduce you to your future. Pressure does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to reveal you. Most people misunderstand pressure because they experience discomfort and immediately assume something is wrong. They think difficulty means danger, struggle means failure, and resistance means stop. But pressure is not a stop sign. Pressure is a spotlight. It shines directly on your habits, your mindset, your discipline, and your belief in yourself. When everything is easy, you can pretend. When everything is smooth, you can hide. But when pressure shows up, masks fall off, excuses disappear, and the truth stands exposed. Pressure reveals whether you are committed or merely interested, determined or merely curious, focused or merely distracted. Think about the moments in your life when you felt stretched beyond your limits. Those moments probably felt uncomfortable, maybe even overwhelming, yet there were also the moments that forced you to grow. Growth never happens in comfort. Comfort maintains. Pressure transforms. A seed only becomes a tree because it pushes through the pressure of soil. Muscles only become stronger because they push against resistance. Diamonds only form because they endure intense weight. In the same way, your character, your resilience, and your strength are formed when life places weight on your shoulders. Without that weight, you would never discover how much you can carry. Many people pray for strength, but run from pressure, not realizing that pressure is the training ground where strength is built. You cannot become powerful while avoiding the very conditions that create power. You cannot develop courage if everything around you is safe. You cannot build endurance if nothing ever tests you. Pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. It is life's way of asking you, are you ready for the next level? Because every new level of success requires a new level of capacity, and capacity is always increased through challenge. When deadlines tighten, when expectations rise, when obstacles appear, that is when your hidden potential begins to surface. You start thinking faster, focusing harder, pushing longer, and believing deeper. Skills you didn't know you possessed begin to show themselves. Strength you never tested begins to activate. Pressure has a way of pulling greatness out of people who thought they were average. It forces you to stop doubting and start doing. It demands that you stop hesitating and start acting. It calls forward the version of you that comfort kept asleep. The truth is that pressure does not create your character. It exposes it. Whatever is inside, you will come out when life gets hard. If fear is inside, fear will show. If discipline is inside, discipline will show. If excuses are inside, excuses will show. If determination will show, pressure is like a spotlight on a stage. It does not change the actor. It simply allows the audience to see clearly, allows the audience to see clearly. So instead of asking how to avoid pressure, ask what pressure is revealing about you. That question can change your life because awareness is the first step toward transformation. Some people break under pressure because they never trained themselves to stand. Others rise under pressure because they prepare long before the moment arrives. Preparation turns pressure into performance. When you practice daily, improve consistently, and discipline your habits, pressure stops feeling like an enemy and starts feeling like an opportunity. Suddenly, the very situations that once scared you become the stages where you shine. You begin to welcome challenges because you understand they are a chance to prove what you have built in private. Pressure also clarifies priorities. When everything is easy, distractions multiply. You waste time on things that do not matter. You procrastinate, you delay, you drift. But when pressure arrives, it forces you to focus. It demands that you separate what is important from what is irrelevant. Under pressure, you do not have energy for nonsense. You do not have time for excuses. You do not have space for negativity. Pressure simplifies your world until only the essential remains. That clarity is powerful because clarity fuels action and action fuels progress. There's a reason the strongest leaders, athletes, creators, and innovators often have stories filled with hardship. It is not because hardship is pleasant. It is because hardship is formative. Easy paths rarely produce strong people. Smooth roads rarely build sharp minds. Pressure-filled journeys, however, shape individuals who can handle responsibility, solve problems, and lead others. The very weight that once felt unbearable becomes the training that makes them unshakable. What once looked like a burden becomes the source of their authority. You must understand that pressure is temporary, but what it produces in you can be permanent. A single difficult season can build discipline that lasts a lifetime. One intense challenge can create confidence that never leaves. One demanding situation can reveal courage you did not know you possessed. That is why you cannot judge pressure by how it feels in the moment. You must judge it by what it produces in the end. Temporary discomfort often leads to permanent growth, while temporary comfort often leads to permanent stagnation. When pressure enters your life, you have a choice. You can resist it, complain about it, and try to escape it. Or you can face it, learn from it, and use it. The first choice weakens you. The second choice strengthens you. The first keeps you small. The second expands you. Pressure itself is neutral. It is your response that determines the outcome. Two people can face the same challenge and walk away with completely different results. Not because the situation was different, but because their mindset was different. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop saying, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" And start saying, "What is this trying to build in me?" That single change turns pressure from an obstacle into a teacher. Suddenly, every difficulty becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes feedback. Every challenge becomes training. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a student of growth. And students who keep learning eventually become masters. Pressure also builds trust in yourself. Each time you survive something difficult, you prove to your mind that you are stronger than you thought. Each time you solve a problem, you prove that you are more capable than you believed. Each time you endure a hard season, you prove that you are more resilient than you imagined. That evidence stacks up, and over time, it forms unshakable confidence. Not loud confidence, not arrogant confidence, but quiet, grounded confidence that says, no matter what comes, I will find a way through. Do not wish for a life without pressure. Wish for the strength to handle it. Because a life without pressure would also be a life without growth, without breakthroughs, without transformation. The moments that stretch you are the moments that shape you. The situations that test you are the situations that teach you, are the situations that teach. The experiences that challenge you are the experiences that change you. Pressure is not there to crush your spirit. It is there to carve your potential. Remember that the greatest version of you is not built in easy days. It is built in demanding ones. It is built when you keep going after failure, when you keep trying after rejection, when you keep believing after disappointment. Those are the moments when pressure is highest. And those are the moments when your power is closest to the surface. If you walk away too soon, you never see what you were about to become. But if you stay, if you stand, if you push forward, you witness your own transformation. So when pressure comes, do not panic. When challenges appear, do not retreat. When life gets heavy, do not assume you are being buried. You might be being planted. And what gets planted has the potential to grow. What grows has the potential to rise. What rises has the potential to become something greater than anyone imagined, including you. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is your proving ground, your training field, your unveiling moment. It is life's way of showing you and the world exactly what you are made of. Excuses are silent thieves. They don't break into your life with noise or force. They slip in quietly, politely, almost kindly. And before you realize it, they have stolen your time, your potential, your confidence, and your future. Most people don't even realize they are making excuses because excuses rarely sound negative. They sound reasonable. They sound logical. They sound justified. That is what makes them dangerous. An excuse does not announce itself as a limitation. It disguises itself as an explanation. It tells you why something didn't happen instead of pushing you to make it happen. It comforts you instead of challenging you, soothes you instead of strengthening you. And the more you listen to it, the more power it gains. Every dream you have requires effort, sacrifice, patience, and persistence. But excuses promise a shortcut. They whisper that it's okay to wait, okay to delay, okay to quit just this once. They tell you that conditions aren't right, that timing isn't perfect, that resources are missing, that support isn't there. They make you feel justified in standing still. But standing still is the slowest way to lose momentum. Dreams do not die because of obstacles. Dreams die because of excuses. Obstacles can be climbed, crossed, or broken through. Excuses, however, build invisible walls that only exist in your mind, yet feel impossible to pass. An excuse is nothing more than a decision disguised as a reason. When someone says they didn't have time, what they really mean is they chose something else. When someone says they weren't ready, what they really mean is they didn't prepare. When someone says they could, what they often mean is they didn't try long enough. This realization can be uncomfortable, but it is also empowering. Because if excuses are decisions, that means you have the authority to choose differently. You are not trapped by circumstances. You are guided by choices. And choices can change at any moment. The problem is that excuses are addictive. The first time you use one, it feels harmless. The second time, it feels easy. The third time, it feels natural. Eventually, it becomes your default response. Instead of asking how to succeed, you start explaining why you can't. Instead of searching for solutions, you collect reasons. Instead of pushing forward, you step back. Over time, excuses become habits, and habits become identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who almost tried, almost started, almost finished, but almost never built anything meaningful. Excuses are especially dangerous because they protect your comfort zone. Growth requires discomfort. Improvement requires effort. Achievement requires persistence. But excuses shield you from all of that. They give you permission to stay where you are. They convince you that staying the same is safer than trying and failing. Yet what they never tell you is that staying the same is the biggest failure of all. Because when you refuse to grow, you slowly shrink. When you refuse to try, you slowly lose confidence. When you refuse to act, you slowly convince yourself that you are incapable. Think about how many opportunities people miss because of excuses. Someone wants to start a business but says they will wait until they have more money. Years pass and they are still waiting. Someone wants to get healthy but says they will start next week. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years and nothing changes. Someone wants to learn a skill but says they are too busy. Time keeps moving and they remain in the same place. The tragedy is not that they lacked ability. The tragedy is that they believed their excuses more than they believed their potential. Excuses sound convincing because they often contain a piece of truth. You might really be tired. You might really be busy. You might really lack resources. But truth does not automatically justify inaction. Being tired does not mean you cannot take one step. Being busy does not mean you cannot make time. Lacking resources does not mean you cannot start small. The most successful people in the world did not wait for perfect conditions. They worked with what they had, where they were, and they built from there. Progress rarely begins with abundance. It begins with decision. The moment you eliminate excuses, your life changes direction. Suddenly, problems become puzzles instead of barriers. Instead of saying something is impossible, you start asking how it can be done. Instead of blaming circumstances, you start building strategies. Responsibility replaces complaint. Action replaces hesitation. Focus replaces distraction. This shift is powerful because it puts you back in control. Excuses hand control away. Responsibility takes it back. There will always be reasons not to act. There will always be difficulties, distractions, and doubts. If you wait for a life without challenges before you pursue your goals, you will wait forever. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones with fewer problems. They are the ones with fewer excuses. They understand that difficulty is not a stop sign. It is part of the journey. They accept that progress is messy, imperfect, and sometimes slow. But they move anyway. They act anyway. One of the most important truths you can accept is that your future is not decided by your conditions. It is decided by your standard. If your standard is to act only when it's easy, you will rarely move forward. If your standard is to act even when it's hard, you will always make progress. Standards determine behavior. Behavior determines results. And results determine direction. Excuses lower your standards. Discipline raises them. When your standards rise, your life rises with them. Excuses also steal something more valuable than success. They steal self-respect. Deep down, you know when you are capable more. You know when you could have tried harder. You know when you stopped too soon. Each time you accept an excuse instead of taking action, a small part of your confidence weakens. But every time you act despite difficulty, a small part of your confidence grows. Confidence is not built by comfort. It is built by kept promises to yourself. And nothing breaks those promises faster than excuses. You must learn to recognize excuses the moment they appear. They often begin with phrases like, "I'll start tomorrow," "I'm not ready yet," "It's too late," "I don't have what I need," or "maybe someday." Yeah, maybe someday? Those phrases sound harmless, but they are warning signs. They signal that fear is speaking, not truth. They reveal that hesitation is trying to take control. When you hear those words in your mind, pause and challenge them. Ask yourself whether they are facts or just convenient stories. Most of the time, they are stories you have repeated so often that they feel real. Action is the antidote to excuses. A single step can silence 1,000 excuses. When you begin, excuses lose their power because they depend on delay. They need you to wait. They need you to hesitate. They need you to postpone. Movement breaks their influence. Momentum destroys their authority. The smallest action today is more powerful than the grandest excuse tomorrow. It is important to understand that eliminating excuses does not mean ignoring reality. It means facing reality with courage. It means acknowledging challenges without surrendering to them. It means accepting responsibility instead of avoiding it. Strong people are not those who never face difficulty. Strong people are those who refuse to let difficulty decide their direction. They may feel fear, but they act. They may feel doubt, but they continue. They may feel pressure, but they persist. Your dreams deserve more than explanations. They deserve effort. They deserve commitment. They deserve discipline. Every time you choose action over excuse, you prove to yourself that your goals matter. You send a message to your mind that you are serious. And when your mind believes you are serious, it begins to support you instead of sabotage you. Focus sharpens, motivation strengthens, determination deepens, all because you refuse to accept the easy way out. At some point, everyone reaches a crossroads between comfort and growth. Comfort says stay where you are. Growth says move forward. Excuses push you toward comfort. Purpose pulls you toward growth. You cannot follow both. You must choose. And that choice determines your direction more than talent, luck, or circumstance ever will. Talent without action fades. Luck without effort disappears. Opportunity without courage passes. But determination without excuses creates results. Imagine what your life would look like if excuses no longer controlled your decisions. Imagine how much progress you would make, how much stronger you would feel, how much closer you would be to your goals. That version of you is not imaginary. It is waiting. It is real, but it only appears when excuses disappear. So the next time you feel one forming in your mind, stop it, replace it. Turn I can't into how can I? Turn a later into now. Turn a maybe into I. Turn a maybe into I will. Speak to yourself with determination instead of hesitation. Remind yourself that greatness is built by those who explain. Refuse to let comfort steal your calling. Refuse to let delay steal your destiny. Refuse to let excuses steal your dreams. Because the moment you stop giving excuses a voice is the moment your potential finally gets a chance to speak. Pain is a language everyone understands, yet very few people truly interpret it correctly. When discomfort shows up in life, most people immediately assume something is wrong. Try to escape it, numb it, avoid it, or distract themselves from it. They treat pain like an enemy that must be defeated as quickly as possible. But pain is not always your enemy. Sometimes pain is your teacher. Sometimes it is your trainer. Sometimes it is your wake-up call. And sometimes the very thing that hurts you in a moment is the very thing that strengthens you for a lifetime. Pain is temporary, but what it produces inside you can last forever. Think about any area of growth. Physical growth requires strain. Mental growth requires challenge. Emotional growth requires struggle. Nothing truly improves without some form of discomfort. Muscles burn before they become stronger. Minds stretch before they become sharper. Character is tested before it becomes solid. The process is uncomfortable, but the result is powerful. Pain is often the price of transformation, and transformation is always worth more than comfort. Problem is that most people judge pain too early. They feel it and immediately label it as bad. They do not wait to see what it produces. They do not stay long enough to see what it teaches. They run from it before it has time to work. But pain, when faced instead of avoided, can build something inside you that comfort never could. Comfort relaxes you, pain prepares you. Comfort keeps you satisfied. Pain keeps you striving. Comfort maintains who you are. Pain pushes you toward who you can become. There are two kinds of pain in life, and understanding the difference between them can change everything. One is the pain of discipline. The other is the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is the discomfort you feel when you push yourself to grow. It is the early mornings when you would rather sleep. It is the extra practice when you would rather rest. It is the effort when you would rather relax. That pain can feel heavy in the moment, but it fades quickly. The second kind is the pain of regret. That pain comes later. It appears when opportunities pass, when chances are missed, when time is wasted, when dreams are abandoned. And unlike discipline, regret does not fade quickly. It lingers. It echoes. It stays with you because it is tied to what could have been. When you understand this, you realize that avoiding temporary pain often creates permanent pain. Skipping the effort today might feel comfortable now, but it can create disappointment later. Avoiding the challenge now might feel safe, but it can create limitation later. Refusing the struggle now might feel easy, but it can create weakness later. On the other hand, embracing temporary discomfort often creates permanent strength. Enduring difficulty now can create pride later. Facing fear now can create confidence later. Choosing effort now can create achievement later. Pain is also proof that you are trying. If you never feel discomfort, it may mean you are never stretching beyond what is easy. Growth always lives just beyond comfort. That is where improvement happens. That is where ability expands. That is where potential turns into reality. Pain is often a signal that you have stepped into that zone. It is not a warning to retreat. It is a sign that you are moving forward. Many of the strongest people you will ever meet did not become strong because life was easy for them. They became strong because life was hard for them. They faced challenges that tested their patience, trials that tested their courage, and obstacles that tested their faith in themselves. Those experiences did not break them. They built them. Every hardship added another layer of resilience. Every setback added another layer of wisdom. Every struggle added another layer of strength. Over time, what once hurt them became what shaped them. Pain also sharpens perspective. When everything is easy, it is easy to take things for granted. But when you struggle, you learn appreciation. When you face difficulty, you learn gratitude. When you endure hardship, learn value. Pain has a way of reminding you what truly matters. It strips away distractions and reveals priorities. It shows you what is worth fighting for and what is not worth your energy. That clarity is powerful because it guides your decisions and strengthens your focus. It is important to understand that pain is not meant to stay forever. Pain is temporary by nature. It may last minutes, days, or even seasons, but it does not last forever. What lasts is who you become while you endure it. The lessons remain. The strength remains. The confidence remains. The pride remains. That is why the statement that pain is temporary but pride is permanent carries so much truth. The discomfort fades, but the growth stays. Pride in this sense is not arrogance. It is not ego. It is not superiority. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing you did not quit. It is the calm confidence of knowing you faced something difficult and came through it. It is the deep respect you feel for yourself because you kept going when stopping would have been easier. That kind of pride cannot be given by anyone else. It must be earned, and it is almost always earned through moments that require endurance. When you begin to see pain differently, you stop fearing it. Instead of running from it, you listen to it. Instead of resisting it, you learn from it. Instead of cursing it, you use it. Pain can become fuel. It can push you to work harder, focus sharper, and strive further than you ever thought possible. Many people discover their greatest drive during their hardest seasons. The difficulty ignites determination. The struggle awakens hunger. The challenge reveals courage. Of course, this does not mean pain is pleasant. It does not mean struggle is easy. This simply means they are meaningful. Meaning changes everything. When pain has purpose, endurance becomes possible. When struggle has direction, persistence becomes natural. When difficulty has value, effort becomes worthwhile. Purpose transforms suffering into strength because it reminds you that what you are facing is shaping you for something greater. You must also remember that every person you admire has endured pain you may never see. Behind every success story is a chapter of struggle. Behind every achievement is a season of sacrifice. Behind every strong individual is a history of challenges they had to overcome. What you see as greatness is often the result of trials and the result of trials they refused to run from. Their victories did not appear by accident. They were forged in moments when quitting would have been easier, but continuing was more important. Life will not always be comfortable. There will be days when effort feels heavy, when progress feels slow, when obstacles feel overwhelming. In those moments, you have a choice. You can interpret the pain as a reason to stop, or you can interpret it as a reason to push forward. That choice determines whether pain weakens you or strengthens you. The feeling may be the same, but the meaning you give it changes the outcome. If you choose to see pain as training, it becomes preparation. If you choose to see it as punishment, it becomes suffering. The difference is perspective is powerful because it shapes your reaction, and your reaction shapes your results. When you view pain as temporary and growth as permanent, you gain the courage to endure. You understand that what you are feeling now is not the end of your story. It is part of your process. One day, you will look back on the difficult moments of your life and realize they were not there to stop you. They were there to strengthen you. They taught you resilience. They taught you patience. They taught you patience. They taught you determination. They showed you what you were capable of. And you will feel proud, not because it was easy, but because it was hard and you made it through anyway. So when pain shows up, do not immediately wish it away. Ask what it is teaching you. Ask how it is shaping you. Ask who it is helping you become. Because pain may visit your life for a season, but the strength it builds can stay with you forever. And when the pain fades, what remains is not weakness, not fear, not doubt, but a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of you who knows from experience that temporary struggle can create permanent power. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, yet it can also be the greatest obstacle you will ever face. It can build you or break you, strengthen you or weaken you, push you forward or hold you back. Everything you do in life begins in your mind first. Every action starts as a thought. Every decision starts as a belief. Every success or failure is first shaped internally before it ever appears externally. That's why your mindset is not just important, it is your greatest weapon. If you learn to control it, sharpen it, and direct it, there is almost nothing that can stand in your way. But if you neglect it, doubt it, or allow it to control you, even small challenges can feel impossible. Most battles in life are not fought on the outside. They are fought inside your head. Long before you face a challenge in the world, you face it in your thoughts. Your mind asks questions, creates doubts, imagines fears, and predicts outcomes. If your mindset is weak, those thoughts become barriers. They tell you that you cannot, that you should not, that you will fail, that you are not ready. And if you believe those thoughts, your actions will follow them. You will hesitate. You will delay. You will shrink. Not because the challenge is too big, but because your belief is too small. Your mind does not simply react to reality. Two people can face the exact same situation and experience it completely differently because their mindsets are different. One sees a problem and feels defeated. The other sees the same problem and feels determined. One sees difficulty and retreats. The other sees difficulty and advances. The situation is the same, but the interpretation changes everything. That interpretation is controlled by mindset. And mindset is not something you are born with permanently fixed. It is something you can train, strengthen, and reshape. Training your mind is similar to training a muscle. At first, it may feel difficult. Negative thoughts may appear automatically. Doubt may speak loudly. Fear may try to convince you to stop. But just like physical training, mental training becomes easier with repetition. Every time you challenge a negative thought, you weaken it. Every time you replace doubt with determination, you strengthen yourself. Every time you act despite fear, you prove to your mind that fear is not in control. Over time, those small mental victories compound into powerful confidence. Your mindset determines how you respond to obstacles. If your mindset is fragile, obstacles feel like walls. If your mindset is strong, obstacles feel like tests. Walls stop you, tests develop you. When you see challenges as tests, you stop asking why they exist and start asking what they are teaching. That shift transforms frustration into curiosity and pressure into growth. Instead of feeling attacked by life, you feel trained by it. And training prepares you for greater levels. Belief is one of the strongest forces in the human mind. If you believe you can improve, you will try. If you believe you can succeed, you will act. If you believe you can overcome, you will persist. But if you believe you cannot, you will hesitate before you even begin. Belief does not guarantee success, but it always influences effort. And effort is what creates results. That is why guarding your mindset is so important. The thoughts you allow to stay will shape the life you create. Many people underestimate how much their environment influences their mindset. The words you hear, the people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in all plant seeds in your mind. Some seeds grow into confidence, courage, and vision. Others grow into doubt, fear, and limitation. If you surround yourself with negativity long enough, it will start to sound like truth. But if you surround yourself with encouragement, growth, and purpose, your thinking begins to expand. Protecting your mindset sometimes means protecting your environment because what enters your mind repeatedly eventually becomes what you believe. Your mind is also the place where fear is born, but it's also the place where courage is created. Fear often comes from imagination. It paints pictures of failure, embarrassment, loss, or rejection. Those images can feel real even when they have not happened. Courage, however, is created when you choose to act despite those images. Each time you move forward while fear is present, you train your mind to understand that fear is not a command. It is only a suggestion. And suggestions can be ignored. Discipline begins in the mind before it appears in behavior. Before you wake up early, your mind must decide to wake up early. Your mind must decide to wake up early. Before you work hard, your mind must commit to working hard. Before you persist, your mind must agree not to quit. Every consistent action you see in someone's life is first a consistent decision inside their thoughts. That is why strengthening your mindset strengthens your action. Once your mind is trained to focus, your behavior follows. Once your mind is trained to persist, your effort continues. Once your mind is trained to believe, your results begin to change. A powerful mindset does not mean you never experience doubt. It means doubt does not control you. It does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear does not stop you. Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is the ability to continue through struggle. People with strong mindsets still face challenges, still feel pressure, and still encounter obstacles. The difference is that they do not surrender to them. They see them as part of the process instead of proof of defeat. One of the greatest skills you can develop is the ability to direct your thoughts intentionally. Most people let their thoughts wander wherever they please. They allow negativity to repeat, worries to grow, and doubts to multiply. But when you learn to guide your thinking, you take control. Instead of letting your mind drift toward fear, you steer it toward possibility. Instead of replaying failures, you focus on solutions. Instead of imagining defeat, you picture progress. Directed thinking is powerful because focus determines direction, and direction determines destination. Your mindset also affects how long you persist. Anyone can start something with excitement, but when excitement fades, mindset decides whether you continue. If your thinking is weak, you will stop at the first sign of difficulty. If your thinking is strong, you will continue until you find a way through. Persistence is not just a physical action. It is a mental commitment. It is the decision that quitting is not an option, no matter how long the path becomes. Another truth about mindset is that it shapes how you see yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, your confidence will shrink. If you repeatedly remind yourself that you are capable of growth, your confidence will expand. Self-talk is powerful because you hear it more than any other voice. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself becomes the way you live. That is why guarding your internal dialogue is just as important as guarding your external influences. Your mind is also your greatest weapon because it travels with you everywhere. You do not need permission to use it. You do not need resources to access. You do not need approval to strengthen it. No matter where you are, no matter what you have, no matter what situation you face, your mindset is always available. That means your greatest tool for overcoming challenges is always within reach. You never have to wait for it. You only have to train it. Training your mindset requires repetition, patience, and awareness. You must notice your thoughts, challenge the ones that limit you, and reinforce the ones that strengthen you. At first, that process may feel slow, but over time, it becomes natural. Positive thinking stops feeling forced and starts feeling normal. Confidence stops feeling rare and starts feeling steady. Determination stops feeling difficult and starts feeling automatic. That is when your mindset truly becomes a weapon because it works for you instead of against you. When your mindset is strong, obstacles lose their intimidation. Challenges lose their fear factor. Setbacks lose their power to discourage. Not because those things disappear, but because your perspective changes. You begin to see them as temporary, manageable, and meaningful. You realize that no situation has the authority to define you unless you allow it. That realization is empowering because it reminds you that your thoughts shape your experience more than your circumstances do. In the end, conquering your mind now is the greatest victory you can achieve. If you can master your thinking, you can master your actions. If you can master your actions, you can master your direction. And if you can master your direction, you can master your life. External victories may impress others, but internal victories transform you. When you win the battle in your mind, every battle outside becomes easier to face. So guard your thoughts, train your focus, strengthen your beliefs, speak to yourself with courage, remind yourself of your potential. And never forget that the strongest weapon you will ever carry is not something you hold in your hands. It is something you build inside your mind. Sharpen with discipline and use with purpose every single day. Motivation is a powerful feeling, but it is also one of the most unreliable forces you will ever experience. It comes like a spark, bright and exciting, filling you with energy, confidence, and belief. In those moments, everything feels possible. You feel ready to work, ready to start, ready to change, ready to push forward. But just as quickly as it arrives, motivation can disappear. One difficult day, one setback, one bad move, or one distraction can cause that spark to fade. And when it fades, many people stop. They wait for motivation to return before they take another step. They sit still, hoping to feel inspired again, not realizing that they are waiting for something that was never meant to lead them. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on what you decide. Feelings change constantly. Decisions can remain steady. That is why consistency will always defeat motivation in the long run. Motivation might get you started, but consistency is what keeps you going when excitement disappears. Motivation is like a visitor. Consistency is like a resident. One comes and goes. The other stays and builds. Think about how many times people say they will start something when they feel motivated. They say they will begin exercising when they feel ready, begin studying when they feel focused, begin working when they feel inspired. But feelings are unpredictable. If you rely on them, your progress becomes unpredictable too. Some days you will move forward, and other days you will stop completely. That kind of rhythm makes success almost impossible because achievement requires repetition. Anything you do once might feel good, but anything you do repeatedly creates results. Consistency is not exciting in the beginning. It's quiet, repetitive, and sometimes even boring. It does not give you the rush that motivation gives. It does not give you instant satisfaction. Instead, it asks you to show up again and again, even when you do not feel like it. Especially when you do not feel like it. And that is what makes it powerful. Because every time you act without feeling motivated, you prove that your goals matter more than your moods. You prove that your commitment is stronger than your comfort. You prove that your direction is more important than your feeling. The people who achieve extraordinary results are rarely the most motivated. They are the most consistent. They have trained themselves to act regardless of emotion. They do not ask whether they feel ready. They ask whether they feel ready. It's time. And if it is time, they move. Rain or shine, tired or energized, excited or discouraged, they continue. That steady repetition may look simple from the outside, but it is one of the rarest skills in the world. Many people can work hard once. Few people can work steadily for years. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is one of the strongest forces you can create in your life. When you act once, you feel a small sense of progress. When you act again, that progress doubles. When you act daily, multiplies. Over time, those small, repeated efforts compound into massive results. The problem is that most people quit before compounding has time to work. They stop during the early phase when results are still invisible. They think nothing is happening, not realizing that everything is happening beneath the surface. Progress often hides before it appears. Just like a seed grows roots before it breaks through the ground. Your efforts often develop strength before they show results. Consistency is what allows that hidden growth to continue. If you stop too soon, you interrupt the process. If you keep going, you eventually reach the moment when invisible effort becomes visible success. That moment feels sudden to others, but it is actually the result of countless consistent actions that nobody saw. Motivation tells you to work when it is easy. Consistency trains you to work when it is hard. Motivation celebrates beginning. Consistency respects endurance. Motivation loves excitement. Consistency loves commitment. And while excitement can start a journey, commitment is what finishes it. If you want real progress, you must learn to value discipline more than inspiration. Inspiration is a bonus. Discipline is a requirement. There will be days when you wake up feeling tired, distracted, or discouraged. Those are the days when consistency matters most. Anyone can move forward when everything feels perfect, but life is rarely perfect. Challenges appear. Stress builds. Energy drops. Those are the moments that separate wishers from achievers. Wishers wait for better conditions. Achievers create progress anyway. They understand that perfection is not required for movement. Action does not demand ideal circumstances. It only demands decision. Consistency also strengthens your identity. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you reinforce the belief that you are reliable, capable, and determined. That belief becomes part of how you see yourself. And how you see yourself shapes how you act. When you view yourself as someone who shows up no matter what, you begin to live that way automatically. Discipline stops feeling forced and starts feeling natural. It becomes part of who you are instead of something you struggle to maintain. One of the greatest advantages of consistency is that it reduces pressure. When you rely on motivation, you often feel like you must make huge efforts to make up for lost time. But when you work consistently, you do not need dramatic bursts of effort. Small daily actions are enough. They keep you moving forward without overwhelming you. Instead of sprinting and stopping, you walk steadily. And steady movement almost always travels farther than occasional speed. Consistency also builds trust with others. People respect those who are reliable. They admire those who keep showing up. They depend on those who deliver repeatedly. Talent may impress people once, but consistency earns respect over time. It shows that you are not just capable, you are dependable, and dependability opens doors that talent alone cannot open. Opportunities often go to those who prove they can be counted on, not just those who show flashes of brilliance. It is important to understand that consistency does not mean perfection. You will have days when you fall short. You will make mistakes. You will miss targets. But consistency means you return. It means you do not quit because of one bad day. It means you refuse to let one setback become a stopping point. Missing once is human. Stopping completely is a decision. Consistency is the habit of continuing despite imperfection. Over time, consistency transforms effort into mastery. Repetition sharpens skill. Practice refines ability. Persistence strengthens confidence. What once felt difficult becomes familiar. What once felt slow becomes smooth. What once required intense concentration becomes natural. That transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through steady action, repeated over and over until improvement becomes inevitable. Mastery is not a mystery. It is consistency extended across time. If you truly want to change your life, stop chasing motivation and start building discipline. Stop waiting to feel ready and start choosing to act. Stop depending on emotion and start depending on commitment. Feelings will rise and fall. Circumstances will change. Energy will fluctuate. But discipline can remain steady through it all. And when discipline stays steady, progress becomes unstoppable. At the end of the day, your future is shaped less by what you feel and more by what you repeatedly do. Occasional effort creates occasional results. Daily effort creates lasting change. Motivation may light the fire, but consistency keeps it burning. Motivation might open the door, but consistency walks you through it. Motivation can inspire a moment, but consistency can transform a lifetime. So when motivation fades, do not stop. When excitement disappears, do not quit. When feelings shift, do not retreat. Stand firm, take another step, and remind yourself that success does not belong to those who feel ready. It belongs to those who show up anyway, again and again, until their persistence turns possibility into reality. Rejection has a way of stinging the heart and shaking the mind. It can feel personal, heavy, and discouraging, as if a door has been slammed shut right in front of you. Most people experience rejection and immediately interpret it as a verdict. They think it means they are not good enough, not talented enough, not smart enough, or not worthy enough. They see it as proof that they should stop trying. But rejection is not a verdict. It is a signal. It is not a declaration of your worth. It is a direction pointing you somewhere else. What feels like an ending is often a turning point, and what feels like denial is often guidance. Every time someone says no to you, it does not automatically mean you are wrong. Sometimes it means the timing is wrong. Sometimes it means the fit is wrong. Sometimes it means the environment is wrong. Sometimes it means the person judging you cannot see what you carry. Not everyone had the vision to recognize potential. Not everyone has the experience to recognize value. And not everyone has the courage to support something new. If you let every rejection define you, you hand over control of your life to people who may not even understand your purpose. Rejection is uncomfortable because it challenges your confidence. It forces you to confront uncertainty. It makes you question your ability. But that discomfort can be powerful if you choose to use it instead of fear it. Rejection can sharpen you. It can refine you. It can teach you. When something does not work out, you gain information. You learn what to improve, what to change, what to strengthen, and what to leave behind. That information is valuable. It is feedback, not failure. Failure is only final when you stop moving. Feedback is useful as long as you keep going. The people who succeed at the highest levels are not the ones who avoided rejection. They are the ones who faced it repeatedly and kept advancing anyway. They learned to see rejection differently. Instead of seeing it as a wall, they saw it as a signpost. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, they saw it as a detour. Instead of seeing it as a stop, they saw it as a redirection. That shift in perspective changes everything because perspective shapes response and response shapes outcome. Imagine you are walking toward a destination and you encounter a roadblock. You would not assume the destination no longer exists. You would simply look for another route. Rejection works the same way. It does not erase your goal. It just means the current path is not the one that will take you there. There is always another route, another approach, another strategy, another opportunity. But you will never find it if you stop walking. One of the greatest mistakes people make is expecting acceptance from everyone. That expectation sets them up for disappointment, because the truth is simple. Not everyone will understand you, support you, or believe in you. And that is perfectly fine. Approval is not a requirement for progress. Agreement is not a requirement for success. Many breakthroughs in history happen because someone continued despite being doubted, ignored, or rejected. If they had waited for universal approval, they would have waited forever. Rejection also builds resilience. Each time you face it and continue anyway, you become stronger. Your skin grows thicker. Your focus grows sharper. Your determination grows deeper. What once hurt intensely begins to feel manageable. What once discouraged you begins to motivate you. You start realizing that rejection cannot destroy you unless you allow it to define. That realization is liberating because it removes fear. And when fear loses its grip, courage gains strength. Courage is not the absence of rejection. Courage is the willingness to keep moving after rejection. It is the decision to try again when trying again feels risky. It is the determination to believe in yourself when others do not. That kind of courage is rare, but it is also powerful. It separates those who dream from those who achieve. Dreamers stop when doors close. Achievers knock on another door. And if no door opens, they build one. Rejection can also protect you. Sometimes what you want is not actually what you need. Sometimes the opportunity you thought was perfect would have limited your growth. Sometimes the door that closed was leading somewhere too small for your potential. In those moments, rejection is not a loss. It is protection. It is life steering you away from something that would have held you back and towards something that will push you forward. But you can only see that truth with time. In the moment, it may feel painful. Later, it often feels purposeful. You must learn to separate rejection from identity. Being rejected does not mean you are rejected. A decision about your work is not a decision about your work. A response to your effort is not a definition of your value. When you confuse those things, you let temporary outcomes shape permanent beliefs. Instead, remind yourself that rejection is an event, not a label. It is something that happens, not something you are. Growth requires correction, and rejection is one of the ways correction arrives. Shows you where improvement is needed. It reveals gaps you might not have noticed. And rejection is one of the ways correction arrives. Shows you where improvement is needed. It reveals gaps you might not have noticed. It pushes you to strengthen your skill, refine your approach, and elevate your standard. Without rejection, many people would never improve because they would assume their first attempt was enough. Rejection challenges that assumption. It calls you higher. It dares you to become better than you were yesterday. There is also a hidden gift inside rejection, clarity. When something does not work out, it forces you to evaluate what truly matters to you. It makes you ask whether your goal is still worth pursuing. If the answer is yes, your commitment deepens. If the answer is no, your direction changes. Either way, you gain understanding. Clarity is powerful because it eliminates confusion. And when confusion disappears, focus strengthens. The path to success is rarely straight. It twists, turns, and sometimes doubles back. Rejection is one of the curves on that path. It may slow you down, but it does not have to stop you. In fact, it can guide you toward a better route than the one you originally chose. Many people look back on their lives and realize that their greatest opportunities came after what seemed like major disappointments. The rejection they once resented, became the redirection they later appreciated. Persistence transforms rejection from an obstacle into a stepping stone. Each time you continue after hearing no, you prove that your determination is stronger than your doubt. Each time you try again, you show that your belief is stronger than your fear is stronger than your fear. And each time you refuse to quit, you move closer to the moment when rejection is replaced with acceptance. That moment does not happen by accident. It happens because you stayed long enough, worked hard enough, and believed deeply enough. You cannot control whether someone says yes to you, but you can control whether you say yes to yourself. That decision is more important than any external approval. When you say yes to yourself, you commit to your growth. You commit to your purpose. You commit to your effort. You commit to your vision. And once you make that commitment, rejection loses its power to stop you. It may slow you down. It may challenge you. It may test you, but it cannot defeat. The truth is that rejection is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. It is woven into the journey. It is one of the steps that leads to achievement. Those who succeed are not those who avoided rejection. They are those who walked through it, learned from it, and kept moving beyond it. They understood that every no brought them closer to the right yes. So the next time you face rejection, do not shrink. Do not retreat. Do not assume it means you should quit. Stand tall. Look forward. Ask what it is teaching you and where it is guiding you. Let it refine you instead of define you. Let it strengthen you instead of stopping you. Let it redirect you instead of discouraging you. Because rejection is not the end of your road. It is simply a sign pointing you toward a better one. You must understand something about greatness that most people miss. It is not reserved for the lucky, the privileged, or the ones who were born with everything handed to them. Greatness belongs to the ones who decide that no matter what stands in their way, they will rise. I'm talking about the kind of decision that shakes your spirit, the kind that doesn't wait for approval, the kind that doesn't need applause. Because when you choose to overcome all odds, you're not just making a statement to the world, you're making a promise to yourself. And that promise says, no obstacle is bigger than my purpose. No setback is stronger than my will. No failure is final unless I quit. Most people talk about wanting success, but when pressure shows up, when pain knocks on the door, when sacrifice is required, they start negotiating with their dreams. They say maybe later, maybe next year, maybe when things get easier. But champions don't negotiate with difficulty. They don't ask struggle for permission. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They move anyway. They grind anyway. They fight anyway. And that's the difference between people who wish and people who win. Because the truth is, the odds will rarely be in your favor. Life doesn't hand out guarantees. It hands out challenges. It hands out storms. It hands out moments that test whether you really meant what you said when you claimed you wanted more. You see, overcoming odds isn't about pretending life is easy. It's about recognizing that life is hard and deciding that hard will not stop you. Anybody can move forward when the path is clear. Anybody can smile when everything is going right. But can you keep going when the road disappears? Can you keep believing when the results don't show up yet? Can you keep pushing when nobody is clapping for you? When nobody is watching you? When nobody even believes in you? That is where real power is born. Not in comfort, not in convenience, but in resistance. There will be mornings when you wake up tired, when your body says rest and your mind says quit. There will be nights when doubt whispers louder than your faith. There will be seasons when it feels like everything is against you at the same time. Bills, pressure, criticism, fear, rejection. And in those moments, you will have a choice, not a big dramatic choice, a small one, a quiet one, a choice nobody else sees, the choice to continue, the choice to stand, the choice to try again. And understand this, your destiny is shaped in those quiet decisions, not the loud ones. Not the moments when everyone is cheering, but the moments when nobody is there and you still show up. People think overcoming odds means making one giant leap, but that's not how that works. It happens step by step, decision by decision, discipline by discipline. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's practicing when you'd rather relax. It's studying when distractions are calling your name. It's believing when evidence hasn't arrived yet. Small actions repeated daily create unstoppable momentum, and momentum is powerful. Cause once you build it, even obstacles start to lose their strength. Even fear starts to shrink. Even doubt starts to fade. Let me tell you something about pressure. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is your trainer. Pressure is what builds strainer. Pressure is what builds strength. Diamonds are created under pressure. Muscles grow under pressure. Character is formed under pressure. So when life squeezes you, it's not trying to break you, it's trying to build you. But you have to see it that way. You have to train your mind to interpret hardship as preparation, not punishment. Because the moment you see struggle as your teacher instead of your enemy, everything changes. Your attitude changes. Your energy changes. Your confidence changes. Some of you have been through things people don't even know about. You fought battles silently. You cried privately. You've carried weight that others couldn't see, and yet you're still here. That alone proves something powerful. It proves you already have strength inside you. It proves you already know how to endure. It proves you already have what it takes to overcome. You don't need to borrow courage from someone else. You don't need permission to rise. You just need to recognize what's already inside you and decide to use it. The world may label you. It may tell you you're not talented enough, not smart enough, not connected enough, not rich enough. But labels are just opinions, and opinions don't define destiny. Effort does. Consistency does. Belief does. History is full of people who are underestimated, overlooked, and dismissed, yet they rose anyway. Why? Because they didn't accept the story others wrote about them. They wrote their own. And you can do the same. Your background does not determine your future. Your starting point does not decide your finish line. Your current situation does not dictate your final destination. You must become obsessed with progress, not perfection, progress. Because perfection will paralyze you. Perfection will make you wait. Perfection will make you hesitate. But progress will move you. Progress will grow you. Progress will transform you. Every day you take one step forward, you're beating the odds. Every time you refuse to quit, you're beating the odds. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, you're beating the odds. Winning isn't always loud. Sometimes winning is simply refusing to stop. And listen carefully, because this is important. Overcoming odds requires vision. If you can't see where you're going, and you won't have the strength to endure what you're going through, vision is fuel. Vision is fire. Vision is what keeps you moving when results are slow. You have to see your future so clearly that your present struggles look small in comparison. You have to picture the person you're becoming so vividly that the pain of growth feels worth it. Because if your vision is weak, obstacles will look big. But if your vision is strong, obstacles will look temporary. There will be people who doubt you. Some will doubt you quietly. Some will doubt you loudly. Some will smile in your face and question you behind your back. Let them. Doubt is noise. It's background sound. It only becomes powerful if you listen to it. Instead, listen to your purpose. Listen to your calling. Listen to that voice inside you that says you are made for more, because that voice is real. That voice is true. And that voice will guide you if you trust it. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. And your response is your power. Life might knock you down, but it doesn't control whether you stand back up. People might reject you, but they don't control whether you try again. Situations might delay you, but they don't control whether you persist. Power is not found in controlling everything. Power is found in refusing to surrender anything. Understand this deeply. Resilience is not something you're born with, it's something you build. Every challenge you face is a chance to strengthen it. Every setback is a repetition. Every failure is training. And just like muscles, resilience grows when it's used. So don't run from difficulty. Don't hide from challenge. Don't avoid resistance. Lean into it. Because what feels heavy today is making you stronger for tomorrow. One day, you will look back at the moments you thought would break you, and you will realize it built you. You will see that the obstacles you fear were actually stepping stones. You will understand that the struggles you hated were shaping your strength. And when that day comes, you will stand taller, speak bolder, and live stronger because you know what you survived. Confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from conquest. It comes from conquest. It comes from proof. It comes from evidence that you can face storms and still walk out standing. So when life tests you, don't ask why me. Ask what now. Don't focus on what's against you. Focus on what's within you. Don't measure the size of the obstacle. Measure the size of your determination. Because odds don't decide outcomes. Mindsets do, effort does, persistence does, heart does. And if you have the heart to keep going when others stop, if you have the courage to believe when others doubt, if you have the discipline to work when others rest, then it's only a matter of time before you rise. This is your moment to decide who you are. Not when everything is easy, but right now when things are hard. Right now when the path is steep. Right now when the outcome is uncertain. Because the strongest declarations are not made in comfort. They're made in adversity. They're made when you look at the mountain in front of you and say, you may be big, but I am relentless. And relentless always beats resistance in the end. So stand up, focus up, level up. Whatever tried to stop you has already failed because you're still here, still breathing. still capable, still fighting. And as long as you keep fighting, the story isn't over. The odds haven't won. The struggle hasn't finished. Your breakthrough hasn't arrived yet, but it's coming. Not because luck decided it, not because someone handed it to you, but because you earned it, because you endured, because you refused to quit. And that's how you overcome all odds. And as you stand at the edge of everything you fought for, I want you to understand that this is not the finish line you once imagined. This is not the place where you finally rest and say the journey is over. This is the place where you realize the journey was never meant to end, because growth doesn't end, strength doesn't retire, purpose doesn't clock out. The moment you overcome one set of odds is the moment you prove to yourself that you can overcome the next. And that realization, that deep inner knowing, is more powerful than any trophy, louder than any applause, and stronger than any obstacle that will rise against you. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You didn't fight through sleepless nights, painful setbacks, silent battles, and lonely roads just to stop now. Everything you endured was preparation. Every hardship trained you. Every delay sharpened you. Every disappointment strengthened you. And now you stand here not as the same person who started, but as someone forged by resistance, someone refined by pressure, someone transformed by persistence. The odds you once feared now look smaller, not because they changed, but because you did. There was a time when doubt felt louder than belief, when fear felt stronger than courage, when quitting felt easier than continuing. Once you stayed, you pushed, you rose, and that tells me something important about you. It tells me that deep inside your spirit, there is a fire that cannot be extinguished, a fire that doesn't depend on circumstances, a fire that doesn't fade when things get hard, a fire that was built for storms, not sunshine. That fire is your proof, proof that you were never weak, proof that you were never incapable, proof that you were always stronger than the situation you were facing. See, the world often celebrates victory, but overlooks the battles behind. People will see your success and call it talent. They'll call it luck. They'll call it luck. They'll call it timing. But you'll know the truth. You'll know about the mornings when motivation was gone, but discipline showed up. You'll know about the days when you wanted to stop, but purpose pushed you forward. You'll know about the nights when nobody believed in you, but you chose to believe in yourself anyway. And that truth will give you a confidence that nobody can take from you, because it wasn't given to you. It was built within you. Never forget the person you had to become to get here. Never forget the grit it took, the faith it required, the resilience it demanded. Because that version of you is your greatest asset. Skills can be lost. Opportunities can change. Circumstances can shift. But the mindset you built, the strength you develop, the endurance you earn, those stay with you. Those become part of your identity. Those become your foundation. And when life presents new challenges, as it always will, you won't face them as the person you used to be. You'll face them as the person who already proved that odds can be beaten. There will still be moments ahead when the road feels heavy, when the climb feels steep, when the weight feels unfair. That's life. But now you carry something you didn't have before. You carry evidence. Evidence that you can survive difficulty. Evidence that you can adapt. Evidence that you can rise. And evidence is powerful, because once you know you can do something, fear loses its authority. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It whispers maybe you can, maybe you won't, maybe you'll fail. But when you've already overcome, fear's voice becomes weaker, quieter, almost irrelevant. So when new obstacles appear, don't shrink. Don't hesitate. Don't question your ability. Stand firm and remember who you are. Remember what you've endured. Remember what you've conquered. Let your past victory speak for you. Let your scars remind you. Let your journey strengthen you, because you are not defined by the challenges in front of you. You are defined by the strength within you, and that strength has already proven that it knows how to win. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for a sign that they're capable, waiting for someone to tell them they're ready, waiting for circumstances to line up perfectly. But you don't need a sign anymore. Your journey is the sign. Your survival is the sign. Your persistence is the sign. The fact that you're still standing after everything you face is the loudest confirmation you could ever receive. You are capable. You are ready. You are able, not because someone said so, but because your actions have already shown it. And here's the beautiful part about overcoming odds. It doesn't just change your life. It changes you. It reshapes your mindset. It expands your vision. It strengthens your character. It deepens your gratitude. It deepens your gratitude. It teaches you lessons that comfort never could. It reveals abilities you never knew you had. It turns your pain into power and your struggle into strength. The very things that once looked like barriers become the building blocks of your greatness. So don't lower your standard now. Don't shrink your vision now. Don't slow your effort now. This is the time to rise even higher, to dream even bigger, to push even harder, because the same force that carried you through your hardest moments, still inside you, still alive, still ready, still unstoppable. The journey ahead may bring new tests, but you are not the same person who once feared tests. You are someone who has passed them, someone who has grown through them, someone who has mastered the art of standing back up. Let the world see your light. Let your story inspire. Let your resilience remind others that no situation is final, no setback is permanent, no obstacle is unbeatable. When people look at you, let them see what determination looks like. Let them see what courage looks like. When a person refuses to surrender to circumstance, because your life is now proof that overcoming odds is not a fantasy. It is a decision to keep going, a decision to keep believing, a decision to keep fighting. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you wherever you go. Nothing that tried to stop you succeeded. Every challenge that stood in your way is now behind you. Every barrier that tried to block you is now beneath you. Every doubt that tried to silence you is now powerless against you. You didn't just survive the odds, you defeated them. And if you can defeat them once, you can defeat them again and again and again. So walk boldly, speak confidently, live fearlessly, chase relentlessly, because the same story that once looked impossible is now your reality, and the next chapter is waiting for you to write it. The pen is in your hand. The page is in front of you, and the strength inside you is ready. This is not your ending. This is your proof